SeanLennon here, Pro Wrestling Enforcer podcast. And I don't have the official shirts, but you can get one of our official shirts at Pro Wrestling Tees. We're selling them now, so check them out, Pro Wrestling Tees. Put the link in the description and check out Pro Wrestling Enforcer, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Enforcer. We're doing a lot of things. We got Warrior Wrestling this weekend. We got AEW Rampage, CSW, even Galley in Chicago. So it's huge. You know, everything is coming. It's a huge wrestling weekend. So we thought we'd bring Mike Pankow from WindyCitySlam to come join us and get his take on everything. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great. Yeah, this is going to be one of the biggest weeks of the year for Chicago wrestling. And of course, once we're done with this week, it's going to be another pretty damn big week in a couple weeks too, when All Out comes to town. And then you have all these independent shows around that. So lots of good wrestling around here next few weeks.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I'll actually be at the summit for almost all their events too. It's going to be exciting.
Should be good.
Yeah, I'm excited. And I'll be at Dynamite. Fortunately, I'm not going to be at All Out as of yet, but we'll see what happens. So still hoping that that'll happen for me as well. But yeah, man, let's get right into it. Warrior Wrestling this weekend. We got Jay White. He's going to be taking on Sam Adonis in the main event. I mean, how excited are you to see Jay White come in there?
I have not seen Jay White in person, so I'm extremely excited. And I'm a big Sam Adonis fan, so this match is going to kick some ass.
Me too, man. I think that this is going to be one of the best matches of the night, and I think that they're going to basically, you know, save this for the headliner. It could possibly be the headliner. You know, obviously they have big matches announced, you know, such as Kylie Ray versus Thunder Rosa. That might be the headliner actually, because I see that's like the top match on the website for the Warrior Wrestling Women's title. And they've been closing out with the Warrior Wrestling Women's title as well. So. But I think Adonis and Sam White, it's two great international names. You know, I was telling him about that, about how there's Steve about that. You know, they're both internationally known, so it's going to be one hell of a contest, great styles clashing. And for you, man, if you were to tell me what a Jay White match that was memorable, what would it be? Because I'm actually going to start watching more of his matches leading up to this.
Boy, I don't know if I could pick just one, truth be told. I mean, he's just so well-rounded with his strong style and everything like that. So there's not one that really sticks out to me more than any others.
You have like maybe a top 3 or 4?
Not really. Haven't really seen a whole lot of him, truth be told, in Japan. So
yeah, I only seen like 1 or 2 matches of him that they were good, and you know I can't wait to just try to, you know, dive into more matches as we, you know, before Warrior Wrestling. And I know we're going to be in for a hell of a match with Kylie Ray, Thunder Rosa. Those two are exciting. This is going to be for the women's title. And, you know, we're very well known what Thunder Rosa is capable of. Man, we saw her match with Britt Baker. She's now all elite. So I'm glad for Thunder Rosa that she finally is with AEW.
Yeah, I missed Thunder Rosa's match at Warrior last year. I had a wedding that night. So I'm very excited to see her in person for the first time. Obviously, I've seen her with AEW, a little bit with the NWA. She's just an awesome competitor. And going against Kylie, it's just going to be an incredible match, I think.
It is. I'm very excited for this one. It's 2 women that are going to go. You think Kylie, she's 3-0 in all her title matches, her single title matches. So, but then we got Thunder Rosa was 1-0. She beat Kimberly. So in terms of the Warrior Wrestling, this match makes sense. You know, we were supposed to have it back in June. Now we're finally getting in August. It's going to be stiff as hell. I know Thunder Rosa throws her kicks because she does that. She does mixed martial arts. So, but I think Kylie will be ready for that. We'll have to, you know, be ready for anything she brings.
I think it's going to be terrific. And then to skip ahead a little bit, maybe I really like what Trey Miguel and Jake Something is going to bring to the table as well for the Warrior Wrestling Championship.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a hell of a match, and I think these two are going to definitely leave it all on the mat. I think Trey Miguel has just defined what it is to be the Warrior Wrestling champion, man. He's going to have his own theme music that's going to be different from Impact's theme music. He's going to come to the ring with. I'm excited to see him as a champion. Like, he's very intense. His last match was against Lee Moriarty. That was a great match. you know, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that it was a competitive match. He came out on top, very technical match, you know, a lot of mat-based wrestling in that match. So he shows he's more than just a high flyer. Jake Something, of course, you know, we hadn't seen him since he defeated Warhorse. Coming back to
Mm-hmm.
Warrior, he's also the BLP champion, so he's wants to collect another belt in the region, and why not? You know, this is the guy to do it against. And Trey Miguel, they know each other. I think they've wrestled each other before. I would assume in other promotions, but it's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they have before. And yeah, I think Jake, he's very well familiar to the local fans between Warrior, Black Label, AAW as well. I really like what he brings to the table. Big bruiser, but he could also move too. And I just think he has a total package, and it's going to be a really good challenge for Trey Miguel.
I do. I still go with Trey Miguel with the victory, but we'll see, man. Anything happen? I like to see a rematch if this goes over well, as you know, too, because we don't really. I mentioned to Steve, we don't really see rematches in Warrior Wrestling.
Yeah. I have a feeling we might see one down the line very soon with Mr. Brian Cage and Trey Miguel. I really like him to outlast those 5 other guys in the GMSI challenge.
Yeah, I would like this. I like to see that as well, man. You got Casey Navarro in there, Chandler Hopkins, TJ Perkins. You got 5. What is his name? Alan Angels, and you got
Alan
Dante
Angels.
Martin.
Yep.
Yeah, they're all could be capable of winning that matchup. And you know, Brian Cage, you know, one-on-one, he's a threat. But you know, when you break it down, there's 6 of them in there. It's not going to be that easy. It's going to be tough, and they're all hungry. They're all willing to take it, and they're ready to become the #1 contender. And the winner gets a medallion. And we mentioned that on Steven's podcast, and Steve was in the studio. The winner gets a medallion that they take, and they can cash it in anytime, any place, anywhere.
Yeah, actually, I just spoke with Steve and Eric Hamilton on the Windy City Slam podcast this week, and they got the idea from the University of Miami's turnover chain. That's basically where they got the medallion idea from, and I just think it's a really cool concept. And like I said, I have a feeling Cage is going to come out victorious, and those other 5 guys are going to be awesome, though. They're going to be flying around the ring. They're going to be bouncing off each other. They're going to be bouncing off at Cage. Cage can fly a little bit too for his size, and it seems like at Warrior Wrestling, he faces a lot of smaller guys too.
He does.
But yeah, I can see Brian Cage retain.
Yeah, I got Cage as well. And, you know, he's never won the title since he lost it. So it's about time. See if he gets the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, he wasn't pinned in the 3-way, and he also did not, lose the title because he was taken out of the War of Attrition match because he was injured.
Right, that's true. So, you know, he's definitely has claim to lay stake to claim in this one.
And a chip on his shoulder.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then we'll go to the next match, which was the big lucha match. This is a match I'm excited for. Aramis versus Mr. Iguana. And Mr. Iguana is a guy from AAA. He's done the Galley shows before. He's a trainer, man. He's trained Aramis. So I don't know too much about him. I'm actually doing more of a deep dive in midweek. So after this podcast, I'm gonna watch his matches because we have an interview set up. So I gotta get to know him I want to get to know him a lot more. He was part of AAA this past week, and he trained Aramis and Daga. He's their trainer. So it's going to be interesting. You know, that was a personal match between those 2 guys. And so this is going to be interesting. A trained teacher versus a student. I think Aramis wins, of course. You know, Aramis is on fire. And you guys haven't checked it out. We did a one-on-one interview of Aramis at Warrior Wrestling. It was a lot of fun to talk to him and get his perspective on things. Aramis is definitely the real deal, man, when it comes to the lucha. And not just lucha, just like top independent talent, top guys that are outside the WWE and AEW. This guy is right up there, in my opinion, internationally.
Yeah, he was in that War of Attrition at Warrior 8 that Brian Pillman Jr. ended up winning too. So he's actually made his name pretty well at Warrior over the last couple of years.
Oh, he is. He is. And for good reason too, you know. He's in Major League Wrestling now, and so I think he's also one half of the Galley Tag Team Champions with Aries. And those is funny because they were the first two. They were the last two in the War of Attrition match. And he pinned Eris. And then the next day in Gali, they became a tag team.
Right. I remember that.
Yeah. And they won the belts. So that's also interesting. No,
that was quite the weekend.
Definitely, man. I think Aramis is going to take everything Mr. Iguana has, throw it back at him. But Mr. Iguana is just a weird guy, man. He's got that iguana on top of his neck, is perched across his shoulder. Definitely unique. And that's what I love. That's what I love, though. I love wrestling. It's unique, you know. It's kind of like you bring in, that vision of like comic book characters or whatever, and you bring it to life. So. Next up is Evil Uno and Jason Hodge. And I don't know too much about Jason Hodge. I know he was on AEW Dark. I think he wrestled the Dark Order. Was it Alan Angels or one of them? I think he wrestled them. I don't know if he's wrestled Evil Uno one-on-one, but I guess this is some kind of feud they've been building on AEW Dark or some kind of rivalry. I'm not sure. But Jason Hodge is a tough guy. Evil Uno, of course, he's been main eventing in AEW Dynamite. He wrestled Kenny Omega for the belt, remember? So tough guy as well, man. I like it. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, Evil Uno has been around for a while. Wasn't he part of the Super Smash Brothers back in the day?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And as far as Jason Hodge, he used to be known as Jason Page, and I believe he did a dark match at Warrior last year, and he's a Trey Miguel guy.
Okay, nice. So he was trained by Trey Miguel?
Yeah, he has that pedigree. I believe he was at Trey's school.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. It should be fun. I like to see matches, newer wrestlers that would surprise me, I haven't seen before. And Evil Uno is, one dastardly villain, but now he's like kind of like a good guy. And, I like the way he wrestles too. He's a veteran man. And, obviously him and Stu Grayson, they were, they should have been, to me, they should have been the AEW Tag Team Champions at one point.
Yeah, they got a nice push early on when the promotion was beginning like a year and a half or so ago. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Early on, yeah, but now it's just kind of not, they're not there. But it's cool though to see the Dark Order in person, like, because we had Brody Lee passed away, and I'm just thinking like it's really cool to like tell these people like how much that Brody Lee meant to them, and how much he meant for the business, and you know what I'm saying. If you get the chance to talk to them, Alan Angels and Dark Evil Uno, it's pretty cool, because that was just such a horrible thing that happened not too long ago.
It affected a lot of people in the business, even Bray Wyatt, who took a long time leave of absence after that. I mean, they were close.
They were. Next up, Beastman and Warhorse. This match kind of comes at me nicely. I love it. I love the fact that these two are going one-on-one. The horse versus the beast, and should be exciting, man. I think they both bring a brawler, attitude to this, but they also, they can be technical. I mean, Beastman does some moves off the top turnbuckle. I mean, it's crazy, His last match was insane, and he came away, I believe he came away with the win. He beat Congo Kong at the last Warrior Wrestling. Was it Warrior Wrestling two shows ago? He beat Congo Kong. Yeah, so
I really like Beastman.
Yeah,
really like Beastman. Nice guy outside the ring too. Big guy. He's actually lost quite a bit of weight, but still he's a big guy that can move. He's got power. He's got speed, flexibility. And then you got Warhorse, who's just an all-around entertaining guy, and he could bring it as well as, fly around. I mean, he's physical too. And you saw that with the match with Jake Something a couple months ago. I thought that was outstanding. I love this matchup right here. I think it's going to be a very, very entertaining match.
Me too. I think it's going to be one of the better matches. It's going to be some crazy spots. It's like, how is Warhorse going to approach a guy that's like that much bigger than him? And Warhorse has done it before. He's taken on Jake Something before, so but it's going to be interesting just to see the opening moments, how he breaks him down. Warhorse rules ass, man. You know, and it's funny. We really haven't seen him do much of shows anymore. Like he used to be featured in GCW a lot. Now he's not really in GCW. He's going to be part of the Black Label Pro and the Summit, I believe. But yeah, we don't really see him featured as much anymore. What do you think? Like,
I mean, yeah, obviously with Black Label being on hiatus and then finally coming up, I think we'll see more of him there. I think he also works Glory Pro. That's out of St. Louis, I believe. I think it's his hometown.
I guess it's yeah. No,
I was just saying for Zello too last year.
He did, and hopefully he'll be back for freelance. Freelance is coming back September 10th. But what I do you go to the shows in Logan Square for freelance?
I have not been up to LSA as of yet, but I'm kind of excited to see them coming back there. At first they were supposed to go to a different place a little bit northwest of there, but I guess they're back at LSA. So
you should come on out, man. It's a fun time. I'll be there for sure. Freelance is going to be back, and they're doing a lot of shows. Freelance. They have Freelance Underground August 27th and 28th. Then they're going to be September 3rd. Welcome Back Home.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're going to be September 10th. Remember the name, Freelance, and doing it at Logan Square. So they got a lot of stuff coming with Freelance and Freelance Underground, and I love it, man. I love that show. I've been to the last 2 tapings. The last taping and then the show before it was on IWTV Live.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are legit, man. I really have a lot of fun at their shows. I mean, you were at their show a couple months ago.
Yeah, the one in June that was on IWTV. Yeah, that one where we had Pat Monix and Kylie Ray both return.
Well, I can't say much because all I know is if you do have IWTV, watch the Freelance Underground tapings. The matches they have so far were great. Like, GPA August Matthews had a good match.
Yes.
Freaking Jasmine, and I'm talking about what was announced. Now there's still matches that haven't come out yet. I think tonight there's more matches that come out, but one match
dropped. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if they dropped yet, but because I could talk about it, but let me see if they dropped yet. But listen, I was at their show and I actually got to interview a couple of the wrestlers, which was awesome. I got to interview Trevor Outlaw and get to hear from
my guy.
Yeah, I got to do a video interview of him, which was great. His facial expressions are priceless. And then I got to interview Wes Barkley. I got to interview Angel Escalera, who wrestled Kylie Ray, and I get to interview the Brang Bros. So it was cool, nice. I got there earlier. I got there earlier than the wrestlers did that day. It was just crazy, like how early I got there and stuff. Oh, so 8/17, so we can talk about it. So it was already released. So Wes Barkley versus Storm Grayson was good. So was Philly Marino Experience and the Cocoa Buffs. But listen, one match you have to watch. And if you have IWTV, Mike, check this out. Laney Luck versus Craig Mitchell. Oh my
Looking
God.
forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely worth. And I was there in person. So I'm glad I can announce it because these matches already are part of the show. So yeah, I think they have 4 more matches they're going to release part of the next taping. But yeah, that Laney Luck Craig Mitchell match was insane. That's all I'll say. But yeah, getting back to Warrior though, and talk about IWTV and talk about all the great matches we have. There's another match, Marco Stunt versus Jackson Crowley, and I'm not too familiar with Jackson Crowley at all. I looked him up, and actually, I think someone that's his brother followed me. I followed him and his brother. He has a brother that's in wrestling. Is that true?
Yeah, there's a couple of brothers, and I guess Jackson's kind of like this weird character, and Marco knows them pretty well. So Steve and Eric decided to match them up, and I thought that chemistry would really, really be good. So it should be very interesting to see what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, we really haven't seen Marco on Dynamite in a long time. Like, it seems like
he's kind of disappeared. He hasn't even been with Jungle Boy or Luchasaurus the last couple of weeks.
No, they're kind of separating him out. I know he's done Dark, and he's actually was part of the GCW show. He does some GCW events, so he did the one Welcome Homecoming show they did in New Jersey. He was there, and I saw the match. He wrestled Starboy Charlie and won. But yeah, we haven't really seen Marco in AEW. At least Dynamite. Hopefully Rampage will give an opportunity to bring him on, but it seems like Rampage is just showing the same guys that are on Dynamite, you know?
Yeah.
And that was another thing, is that Christian won the freaking Impact Championship. Were you excited for that? Good move or bad move?
I was a little surprised, actually. I could say I was excited because Kenny Omega just hasn't been losing matches. So to see Kenny lose, even though it was with the help of a chair, I just thought it was kind of cool to see Christian, win a championship for the first time in 7-8 years. And that was a kind of a big deal for the first episode of Rampage.
Yeah, it was. My only thing is, like, Christian is going to wrestle again, Kenny Omega. So it seems like, how's he going to beat him a second time? And that's the whole setup that maybe I'm not a huge fan of. But Christian winning was definitely big. He was a former Impact champion and, former TNA guy. He's in the TNA Hall of Fame. So it only made sense.
WWE World Champion?
Yes, WWE World Champion. So it only made sense that he would be the guy to take that match from Omega. And we'll see if he can take the world title, the AEW championship from Omega as well. Omega's expression.
I can't lie.
Go ahead.
I can't lie. When they initially announced that match for All Out, I was a little disappointed. But then when I saw them wrestle on Rampage, I'm like, anytime you get Christian in the ring, he's going to give you a good match.
Yeah.
And putting him in there with Omega is going to be a really good match.
Yeah.
And they delivered.
So,
they absolutely delivered. I don't know. Maybe I was expecting Punk or maybe Hangman Adam Page, who I'm a huge fan of, or even like a Bryan Danielson. But Christian Cage is going to be fine. I think it'll be a very good match.
Definitely. We're taking a break and talking AEW. So you believe 100% CM Punk shows up
on Friday night? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it would be a colossal disappointment if it doesn't happen. They've just been building this up. They have this United Center show on the 20th. Now, this venue at this time, the way they've been building up 23,000 people, it's going to be the largest attendance in the AEW history. If it's not Punk, it's going to be a huge disappointment. So I think it's done. I think Punk is coming on.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he's going to show up, but I hope it's not just video screen. He shows up in person. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, no via satellite stuff.
Yeah. I like to see him and Darby Allin. I love the dynamic. To me, Darby reminds me of Jeff Hardy a lot. And so I'm digging. He also, Darby reminds me of CM Punk too. They both CM Punk and Jeff Hardy combined. And I'm all about this match, and it's going to be insane if they have it at all out.
Especially because Darby is reminiscent of an early career CM Punk. I mean, you kind of see some of CM Punk's early tendencies in Darby.
True.
And as well as the Jeff Hardy comparison is really, really good. So I think that should be pretty cool if they end up doing that.
Yeah, I think they're going to go in that direction for sure. I mean, if you call out CM Punk like that, you said the best in the world. And CM Punk, it's funny, like leading up to this, he's throwing out like, oh, I have my show premiere. It's going to be the same date. And then he's like, oh, I'm not, who else is the best in the world? Daniel Bryan. Maybe it's him, you know what I mean? So it's just funny how he's making excuses how it's not going to happen. But then the latest tweet you saw where the numbers added up, it was like his debut years in ROH, his debut year in WWE, and his debut year in AEW, I believe so, right? Because I think that's where ROH, yeah, it was ROH, yeah.
The 11, I believe, was in response to the big contract he signed with WWE after he ran out of the building at Allstate Arena after winning the title, and he disappeared for a couple of weeks. Right. I believe that's what the 11 was.
Okay.
2011, because that's when he won the championship initially at Money in the Bank.
Yeah. And you won't be there, right?
For Rampage, unfortunately not. No, personal life stuff gets in the way sometimes. Unfortunately, that's what it's gonna be.
You'll hear all about it as soon as you open up your phone.
I'll be watching.
Oh yeah,
on
you're
TNT,
watching then.
So
yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. I cannot wait for that. Then we're gonna get to the final match: Cole Radrick versus Isaiah Velazquez. That's gonna be insane. With these two guys are both really popular. A lot of fun to watch. How do you feel this match goes down? I think Cole Radrick, he lost his last match to Casey Navarro. So I think he wins this one at Warrior Wrestling. But, you know, Isaiah is on a roll with Warrior Wrestling, though. I believe he's won all his matches in Warrior so far.
I love both these guys. Yep. Yeah. I'm not sure if he's undefeated, but he's been very, very good in Warrior.
Yes.
And every match he has had, you know, he's brought his level up to the opponent he's wrestling, and he's always a terrific hand in the ring. You just put him out there with anybody and the match is going to be good. And we've seen these guys in other companies too. Freelance Underground, I believe they maybe were in Black Label Pro. I know Isaiah's was, not sure about Cole, but yeah, they've been around the door a few times with different companies in the area. And I really like what both of them bring to the table.
Me too. Yeah, Cole Radrick, you know, we saw him against Casey Navarro. It was a good match. I don't think we've had Isaiah Velazquez at a Warrior show since last year, right?
Yeah, didn't he wrestle either Moriarty or Lamar or one of those guys?
I think it was
my memory's failing. It was Trey Lamar. Okay.
I think it was Trey Lamar. I think he also wrestled Daga, but he lost that one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
That was another one. Yeah. So yeah, I think they're both exciting. They're both bringing a lot to the table. Everybody go to warriorwrestling.net for more information on tickets. And yeah, man. So anything else you want to talk about with the Rampage?
Like I said, I think it's happening. I think Punk's showing up. I think like I said, if it doesn't happen, it's going to be a colossal disappointment. Maybe so much to it causes a backlash against AEW. So I really think they have to deliver here. I mean, they've really painted themselves into the corner.
I think so too. I think they definitely have to deliver. I think they're gonna have a hell of a show, hell of a match. And I mean, but there's no other matches announced, right? For it so far?
Yeah, there's been nothing announced. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they'll announce it
perhaps on Dynamite this week we'll find some more stuff.
Yeah, and then we talk about Dynamite, of course, and that's going to be huge. We've got Jericho and MJF tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think this whole 5 Labors of Jericho has been in kind of an awesome theme park ride with Juventud Guerrera, with the crazy Nick Gage match, Wardlow throwing a pretty good match in there. And then Sean Spears was the first one. So it's been fun. And now I guess there's special stipulations where he can't use the Judas effect or the Judas musical entrance. Right. So that's going to be interesting to see. I think the fans do it a cappella and make it work.
Yeah, I think so. They'll find a way to do it. Yeah, I think that's going to be great. I think they're going to have, a couple fun matches on there. And Tony Khan said, I think I know everyone that knows what to expect. The first dance. So, yeah, I think, is there any other matches announced for this Dynamite that you know of?
I believe there might be a tag match announced. Didn't they announce the Dark Order against, or was that last week? My memory is really.
Oh, you know what? They're going to have the Young Bucks against Jurassic Express.
Oh yeah, for the titles.
They're going to have them for the titles. Yeah.
Yeah. They've been building up for that one for a while. Yep.
Yeah. I think that's about it though, right? I don't think they've really announced much more. So hopefully they'll have more matches announced by next time. They'll have some. I know they'll always have a good lineup. You can never be disappointed. Yeah. Actually,
and for Rampage, as long as they deliver on Punk, they won't care about anything else.
Of course not. Also on Dynamite, you got Thunder Rosa and Penelope Cruz. Penelope Ford. Penelope Ford from Houston. There's announced Sean Spears versus Sammy Guevara, MJF versus Jericho, and a Texas Tornado match. Sting, Darby Allin versus 2.0.
The former Everrise.
Yeah, Everrise. How did they get to go to AEW so quickly when they got released not too long ago? That's
they
crazy.
May not have had a long non-compete. I think it's been short. Was it 30 days? Because that was the Aleister Black non-complete, where he only had 30 days. I guess it was an oversight when it got brought up to the main roster. It was supposed to be 90, but I guess NXT guys only have 30. And then with him, I guess he was still on that NXT non-compete.
That's right. Yeah, well, you know what? It's cool, man. I like
it was a clerical error.
Wrestlers come through. I mean, some of the newer additions to AEW, what do you think of like Daniel Garcia? What do you think of Wheeler Yuta?
Those type of additions I really, really like because, they're not like retread WWE guys or WWE veterans. These guys are hot independent acts. People, you learn who they are through some of their AEW appearances. I'm very excited about new guys like that. And I think that's why people gravitated to like a Sammy Guevara or a Darby Allin or even MJF initially, because they didn't have that WWE stigma attached to them. I really like the fact that they came from the indies to AEW rather than coming from WWE.
Oh, same here. That's why I love seeing like Chris Statlander come in there. Mm-hmm. Like it was crazy. Like Shimmer of 20. Britt Baker. Well, Shimmer 2019, like one of the right before AEW got started, was like the final Shimmer show before AEW got started, man. We had Britt Baker, Penelope, we had Chris Statlander, and may have had even, I think, what's her name? The Bunny was there for Rise. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think who else, but Britt Baker, it was like 3 or 4 of them that were doing Shimmer. And
I'm sure Mercedes was there too. Mercedes Martinez.
Yes.
Before she ended up doing the all out battle royal. Then she ended up signing with NXT.
True. And also Shotzi was there that weekend too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like the last like big weekend before all these talents they left and they went to other shows. But we'll see if they come back. I mean, Mercedes got released and then she posted her first independent show since her release, so I'm excited to see that.
Mm-hmm.
I forget who she's wrestling, but it's exciting.
She's
to
always
see that
gonna
she's
find
doing that. Yeah, she's gonna find. Yeah, of course. I think she's gonna get signed by another promotion at this point. But yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Well, like 2.0, like these guys were in NXT, and then boom, look, they're featured in like Dynamite main card matches 3 weeks in a row, like so. It's cool though. I like the dynamic of AEW Dynamite, man. To me, it's way better than the other show. I went to
their rise down.
What's up?
Yeah, their 2.0's rise when they were Everrise back in NXT. They're doing this, I think, like a YouTube thing or a WWE.com thing or whatever.
Yeah, it was.
And it kind of got over a little bit, and it kind of was reminiscent of Zack Ryder's True Long Island story. And like Zack Ryder, it kind of got poo-pooed on, and now look where they're at. I think Definitely. It really helped them kind of get on AEW's radar.
For sure, man. And then what we'll talk about next is last thing is the CSW, because we don't want to leave them out.
Absolutely,
they got matches announced, and if you don't have a ticket to go to the big show, the First Dance, because it is sold out, check out CSW, guys, if you want to go to a match. And this show does sell out as well, but I mean, this is going to be a fun show. You got Nick Brubaker, the Filth King, and CJ Esparza versus the Bernie. And I'm still getting used to the CSW shows. I do know who Nick Cutler is. Do you know who the Burning is?
Yeah, Nick Cutler, Cypher, and then Vic Capri, part of the Burning. Yeah.
Nice. I saw the match with Vic Capri and Nick Brubaker last month. They had a hell of a match. They had a street fight.
That was amazing.
Yeah, you got to see that after it happened, right?
Yeah, Ring Film Dude, who's Derek Dante, he posted it on his YouTube channel, and the whole match is on there. I mean, this was amazing stuff. You had some Necro Butcher stuff with the stapling of the dollars to the forehead. You had the flaming table. You had blood everywhere. It was insane. I mean,
it was
cow.
For a show like CSW. Who would expect that, right?
And that little American Legion Hall too. I mean, that's not a big building.
With fire too, I was like, oh
yeah.
And then you have Acid Jazz versus Marche Rocket, and it's funny, they were the Cocoa whatever in freelance.
Cocoa Puffs, yes.
The Cocoa Buffs, but now they don't like it. I was like taken back, like why are they beating on each other? Why are they on the same side? Because I don't follow I haven't been to CSW show in years, and I'm like, oh, okay. So they're gonna have this 3 stages of hell match, which sounds exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know the stipulations particularly, but should be a good one.
It's similar to the Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly 2 out of 3 match that's coming up in NXT TakeOver, except for the third fall. The first fall here is a straight up match, just like the Cole O'Reilly one. Then fall number 2 will be a no DQ. And then I guess the third fall in the Acid Jazz Marche Rocket will be I Quit Rules. So that should be a lot of fun.
That should be fun. It'll be a final end to the finale. Next up is Sierra versus Sky Blue for the Heather Reckless CSW Women's Championship. And I'm looking for a shakeup in this matchup, man. I am going with Sierra to win it. But
really?
You never know, right? You never know. I don't know. I like Evil Sierra, like she's like,
I like her too.
She's badass, I mean, I like Sky Blue too. And Heather Reckless, she's like the X Factor because she came out there and that last show, she beat Sky Blue down, took the belt, and she proclaimed that she's going to be next champion. She won a battle royal to be the #1 contender. And so be interesting to see that. I like the dynamic between the 3. Probably more likely Sky Blue retains, but I was just saying like what I would like to see,
Yeah. And my prediction for this match, I think, here's the shocker, I think Heather Reckless wins it. And this has been a rivalry brewing for several months over the last several shows for CSW between Sky Blue and Heather Reckless. There's been mixed tag matches with Ryan Matthews and Mateo Valentine involved. There's been one-on-one matches. There's been sneak attacks. I think this might be building up to a crescendo for Heather Reckless.
Maybe so. And you think Heather Reckless wins? Yeah,
she's been doing some good stuff on the Midwestern Indies lately. And
she is.
You might see a victory here for Heather. I'm kind of feeling it.
Definitely. That'd be a nice, have Sky Blue chase her for a while. Then let me get your thoughts on the last match. Like, who did you think was going to win between Jazz and Marche?
I think Marche takes it. I mean, it could probably go either way, but I'm a huge Marche Rocket fan. And ever since I saw him for the first time 7 years ago at Pro Wrestling Blitz, the guy's got the goods. He's a veteran, as is Acid Jazz, too. But I think Marche is going to take it.
Me too. And you have the Dope Kings or the Burning?
Let's go with the Dope Kings. I like that pair.
I'm going to go with them too. I think though Vic Capri is going to show up somehow and help them out. The Burning. So Vic Capri shows up, it's the Burning. If he doesn't, then it's the Dope Kings. Vic Capri is advertised to be there, but he doesn't have a match yet. So we'll see what happens.
I can totally see Vic Capri making his presence known. Yeah,
nice,
I can see that.
It's cool that you follow CSW pretty often, huh?
Yeah, GM Steve Arendt is the guy that kind of hooks me up with a lot of the happenings and the results and stuff like that. And the show that I went to a few months ago was terrific. I really enjoyed it. They really reeled me in with that show. So even though I can't get out to too many of the shows, I still follow it religiously and through clips and photos and what Steve Arendt gives me in terms of the results. It's CSW and Freelance Underground and Zello Pro in terms of 3 strong promotions right now that produce great episodic type storylines from show to show to show. I mean, if you follow those shows, there's definitely great continuity there, great wrestling, and definitely you can, if you see just a couple of their shows, you know what's going on.
True, but you can't also forget about Gali. And what's pretty cool is Gali, most of their shows are on Facebook. You can watch them live on Facebook. And they're going to be here on Sunday as well. So if you have a chance, and if you don't have tickets to Warrior, you can't go to Warrior, you can catch Sam Adonis, Aramis, Mr. Iguana. They'll all be part of the upcoming Gali Lucha. So if you missed them at Warrior Wrestling for whatever reason, you can't make it out to Warrior, you get to see them live in person at Gali. So I think Sam Adonis especially is going to be great, especially those fans. Those fans at Gali, man, they are so loud. They bring the noisemakers. It's louder than I mean, Warrior is loud, don't get me wrong, but these guys are just crazy. These are nuts, man. They bring the loud noisemakers and they're just going, whoo, and then they're cursing in Spanish. I'm like, I think I know what they said. And it's like crazy. It's just, so I know when Sam Adonis gets out there, he's going to get the fun of it. I mean, we all know what Sam Adonis did in Mexico, you know, he dressed up as Donald Trump. So, you know, they haven't forgotten. Obviously, he's not going to do that here, but he's still going to get the it's going to have fun interaction. That's all I'm going to say. Especially he's in Chicago. I mean, he's in Pilsen. Isn't that, you know, Pilsen, man, neighborhood, Puerto Rican, right?
Yeah, like little Mexico over there.
Right, right. So you got to believe he's going to drum up the heat, man. You know?
Yeah.
You know, so
that's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah, it will be. It will be. There's no matches announced yet. They always kind of announce them kind of late. Gino Medina is going to be there as well. He's from MLW. So
yeah,
I think
he's on the poster.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Gali is going to be a lot of fun. So I recommend everybody. I wish, to be honest with you, like I wish I could go to every show this weekend. I actually wish that they would do a Sunday for CSW or do it next Friday. I know, just so I could go to everything. You know what I mean? It's hard to.
I'd love to see a super card of like the promotions. You know how Impact had that before. I believe it was before the Impact or whatever that show was called before Bound for Glory a couple of years ago, where a lot of the local promotions put together matches, and it was kind of an independent showcase for Chicago at 115 Bourbon Street.
Nice. I know what you're talking about before the Impact. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to go to that event, but I heard about it. I definitely heard about it.
I watched some of it on Twitch, actually.
Oh, okay. I tried to. Some of it wasn't working when I was trying it, but yeah, I hope they do something like that.
It wasn't a great stream.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that would be great. I would love it if they would do something like, I feel like the Summit is a good example of them bringing like independent shows, you know, together. GCW is huge, man. The way that company has really grown. You know, Nick Gage is going to be in Chicago. He's going to be doing that street. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but those death matches, man, are insane. And when you have a match called War Games, that tells me that you're going to have the fight. They're going to bring the fight out into the crowd. So expect lots of glass flying. It's a good thing that masks are going to be mandatory for that match. Well, yeah. You know what comes out of those things, right? Which they try to get rid of, but
yeah, those light tubes can be dangerous.
Right, they have gas in them, and so you gotta, mask up.
It's not healthy.
Goggle up, and no, it's not. But it's gonna be crazy. I mean, I'm sure that and I'm going to the Art of War show. So, and when I see that, I'm like, yeah, they're gonna fight all over the place. So we're hoping to capture that stuff on video for everybody. We're actually going to try and get permission to shoot it. You know what I mean? So we're not just using our phones and getting like up close and in there and personal with all that. I'm going to tell my guy, bring something to cover your camera with, man, because I want to get damaged. I'm serious, man. Get a clear cap or something, just because And Matt Cardona, you know, he's the GCW champion. Like, who would have thought that would have happened? Like, he would have beat Nick Gage. And I'm sure he's going to show up at the summit.
That would be cool.
Oh, yeah. You know Matt Cardona now. Can you imagine, like, what was you think that he said that he was going to actually take on Nick Gage? Like, that's just crazy, right? We never seen Matt Cardona do anything like that before.
Yeah, stepped out of his comfort zone, and he looked pretty good doing it too. So you got to tip your hat to Matt. It was good stuff.
And what do you think about Jericho when he did that with Nick Gage, man?
Wow, I couldn't believe they pulled that off on AEW. And I know there were probably a couple of sponsors that weren't super happy about it, but I'm like, wow, like glass and then the pizza cutter and all that. Didn't think you'd be seeing it on TNT. You'd be getting a call from Standards and Practices like WCW was like 25 years ago.
You know, it's crazy. Domino's was featured right after the segment, in the match when they was using the pizza slicer. Domino's had
I think it went picture in picture like they do where they do for the commercial. Just literally after the pizza cutter was used, there's the Domino's ad. I'm like, oh my God.
Somehow AEW, they're just aloof to all this stuff, right? Like they don't get in trouble or anything. I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, the deathmatch stuff, it's not everybody's thing, but it's for me, if someone that wants to cover wrestling, I feel like I gotta go out there and do it. You know what I mean? It's just gonna be crazy.
Look at Martine with Wrestling with Unicorns. He's down there right by when all this stuff is happening.
Yeah, I know. That was
crazy
insane.
stuff.
He got cut too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and his thumb got messed up or something, and you know, hopefully he's better now. But it's the dangers of being down at ringside.
Yeah, I mean, with those matches, I stay far away. I remember the first time I saw one of those and the glass started flying in my eyes. I'm just like, I'm back. I'm hanging way back. But the thing is, when you say war games, that means they can fight anywhere. To me, that means they can fight anywhere, right? Because this is not WCW or NXT war games. That means they're going to probably be fighting in the crowd, and that shit's going to be all over the place.
Yeah, there's no cage.
There's no cage. No, it should
probably
be fun,
wishing
man.
there was a cage, but yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly, but yeah, I mean, these shows are a lot of fun. They're gonna have a lot of surprises. I'm also wondering if Orange Cassidy and Chris Stanley might show up since they were in GCW before.
Yep.
And Marco Stunt, and maybe a couple others, because that'd be pretty cool if they showed up, you know. Or you know what I really want to show up at Black Label Pro? You know what I'm begging shows up? Bear Country.
Oh yeah,
because they're from Black Label Pro, right? So they would just make sense that they show up unannounced and just wreak havoc, and you know what I mean. And they were getting a push too, and then they kind of slowed them down a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, right around Revolution, they were getting a decent push, and they were even in that Battle Royal and all that. And then a couple weeks after that, they pretty much disappeared.
I know, man. It's just like, really, you know, just kind of like out of the blue. I mean, I love AEW, dude. I love what they're doing, but you know, just some things are just like, you know, why didn't it work, and just questionable and stuff like that. But
that's the one thing I fear with AEW is if they start signing a lot of these former WWE names, guys like Punk and Danielson, and now there's even Ric Flair rumors of him signing with AEW. What's going to happen to guys like Hangman Page? And you would hope a Darby Allin doesn't get pushed to the side. You would hope guys like Pac and even the Lucha Brothers and guys like that don't get pushed to the side.
Exactly.
And that's one thing I'm really afraid of. And hopefully Tony Khan doesn't fall in love with it like Impact Wrestling did a number of years ago when they started signing all the WWE guys.
Yeah, I know.
The Impact Originals kind of got pushed to the side as well. I mean,
I
didn't do any
remember
favors for those guys.
That's kind of when I checked out of Impact. It was like when they were doing all those things, and yeah, it didn't make sense, you know. And yeah, I'm hoping that I saw Kurt Angle stare down Miro. I'm hoping
that was cool.
Yeah, but I hope, you know, we'll see if they bring Kurt Angle in. I mean, that'd be great.
That's a possibility too.
I mean, I'm not against it. It's just, but like you said, you want to see the younger talent not get pushed aside. Mm-hmm. And we've got, you know, they got great guys, Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page.
Yeah, you
You
have barely
know,
seen those guys lately. They've been
exactly.
relegated to the
The
YouTube shows.
Men of the Year. They were doing that big thing, Men of the Year, and then after Darby Allin's thing moved forward, they didn't go forward at all.
Yeah, the thing with Scorpio is, though, they broke him off from SCU. Okay. I think he's going to be a big singles guy. He had that match for Darby. He lost that match to Darby. And then they bring Ethan Page and partner those two up. Man, I didn't like it at first, but I think they're great together. They've proven me wrong there. I mean, I like both of those guys. I just thought they'd bring them in as singles and maybe push them more as singles.
Me too. I mean, I wasn't against the whole Men of the Year. I thought it was cool, but then we don't even see them now.
Don't see them. Yeah.
Right. It's just like they're kind of poof, they're gone.
Yeah.
And then there needs to be some kind of consistency, but you know, AEW is not really doing it. It looked like Hikaru Shida, when she lost the belt to Britt Baker, that's the last time she was featured on a pay-per-view, right? Well, that was the last pay-per-view. Yeah. But she hasn't been featured on Dynamite since.
Yeah, she's been on the YouTube shows too. I'm like, Hikaru Shida was probably one of the best wrestlers the company had the last year. And now she's not even getting on TNT, which is nuts.
She carried the belt in the women's division on her back that whole pandemic. And now she's not even featured. She has a new look. She changed her look, and now she's wrestling like, you know, Kira Hogan on freaking AEW Dark. It's just like, really? It's just like we need to have some consistency, bring her back at least a week. Because what I thought the original concept was there was going to be a rotation on Dynamite. So we'll feature people this week, and then they won't be featured as much the following week, so other talent can be featured. And then, you know what I mean? Like a rotation.
Right.
But we're not really seeing that. We're seeing the same talent featured every
much,
week.
no.
Not as much. And they do bring up guys. They did bring up 2.0. They did bring up, you know, I mean, Daniel Garcia, but and Wheeler Yuta. But still, then we won't see him again. They'll be back on. Yeah, there's a lot of gripes I have with AEW. But as great as it is, it's like, you know, these guys, they come up here and it's like, give them a chance to just let them be featured every other week or maybe every 2 to 3 weeks, you know, but.
And I almost wonder, Tony Khan's dad, Shad Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is he going to start wondering how much money Tony's pouring into the AEW product?
Yeah, well, I guess as long as they're making money,
salaries,
right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll give AEW one thing. You cannot find their action figures at retail. I mean, every time a box of figures gets put on the pegs at the store, they're gone.
You're right.
Pro Wrestling Tees selling all the T-shirts and stuff of the AEW people just eat that up. I mean, merchandising right now is through the roof for them. So obviously they are making money somewhere.
Oh yeah, and the tickets are sold out. You know, All Out sold out. I think someone told me they should just move All Out to United Center. Fuck it, everybody. You know, everybody gets your money, money back, and then let's just resell everything. I don't know. That's what somebody told me, but that's not going to happen, obviously. I think this is the last time they do All Out at Sears Center or the Now Arena, and then they'll consider moving to United Center. They have.
There's no reason why they can't have it at United Center starting next year. I mean, middle of early September or late summer. Yeah, there's nothing else happening, so why not?
And plus, it's sold out. The Rampage itself is almost sold out.
Yeah. So why not?
So if you can sell it out, why not sell at a bigger venue? So they're definitely looking at that, and you know, the future is bright for them, man. I would love to be part of that company in any way, shape, or form. It's your stock options, everything's looking up, trending upward like that. And I'm part of a great company already, but a good company that makes decent amount, and I get a little bit of a bump. But you know what I'm saying, AEW is they're going really up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So they're pretty much like at that level where they're just gonna start taking over. I think once they go international, that's it. They already signed a deal in India, I heard. A distribution.
Yeah, they're starting to build that empire. Yep.
Yeah. So once they go international, and I think the WWE will always have an audience because of they appeal to a different audience. They appeal to the families and the kids. But yeah, before we leave, and I'll just give you a couple minutes. The WWE releases. What did you think of all the releases? The NXT releases. Let's just start with that.
Yeah, NXT stuff is breaking my heart because it's the best product they've had consistently the last several years. And losing guys like Bobby Fish and Jake Atlas, Ari Sterling, aka Alex Zane, Bronson Reed, who was just the NXT North American champion. And you figured a perfect type of guy for the Vince McMahon big man syndrome, but even he gets released. And then there was a 7-footer that got released too. And they're talking about, oh, we need guys that are bigger, but you're releasing guys that are bigger too.
Right,
so
exactly.
It doesn't make sense to me.
It is. And, you know, for most part, the women's roster is untouched, but I'm wondering when they're going to start dismantling that as well. It's scary, but yeah, it's sad. It's sad because, you know, they had great talent no matter what their size was, like Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa.
Mm-hmm.
And then you release all these wrestlers, and it's like, it's insane. Like, you go through that release list, like, how could they just do that? Jake Atlas, Ari Sterling, and, you know, who's Alex Zane, and, you know, Bobby Fish. Heartbreaking, you know?
Yeah, even Leon Ruff, who was recently a North American champion as well. And the silly thing with that is his wife is still working for NXT as a referee. So kind of awkward.
It is. It is. I'm just looking at all the wrestlers they release. Like, some of them I have on my wall now. So that's why I was just checking them out, you know? But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, throughout, and there were some, we didn't even get a chance to see them, you know?
Yeah, barely at all.
Mercedes Martinez being released, like, wow, like, she's such a great veteran. Like, why would you do that? And it was just too much. And the new direction that they're heading towards, I think it's not going to be one that's popular at all.
It's scaring me. And there's rumblings and talks about Triple H not being happy. Man, this is the guy that made NXT work. And if he leaves, oh boy, NXT is going to be a clone of the main roster, unfortunately.
I know.
That happens. You don't want that.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, Bobby Fish, Jake Atlas, Leon Ruff, you know, Mercedes Martinez, those were all like big ones. Like, wow, how could they do that, you know? But and then of course, you know, like you said, Bronson Reed, you know, he's a big guy. Like, you can use him.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense. Like, him and Samoa Joe would have amazing matches.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah,
they would.
Yeah, I just don't know. And there's talks that they're going to sell the WWE. This guy, Nick Khan, is the one making this initiative to change NXT because they lost the war, and they're going to make it. Then they're going to start taping now. They're not going to be live anymore.
Yeah.
It just seems like
USA is not happy about that.
No. They're going backwards, in my opinion. I think you think the same thing too. And so, you know, it's cool though when you get to see like Kurt Stallion, and I got to talk to him, and, you know, he gave me his kind of perspective on things going on. I'm hoping to get an interview. We're going to get an interview at the next AEW show, but just seeing him come back and kind of like rejuvenated, that he's actually happy that he's working, you know. And I talked to him before he was he was a surprise. Can you believe that? So I got to see him before he was a surprise. I was kind of walking through like behind the venue and to get to the front, and he was there.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool to see him as a surprise and get his thoughts and everything. But yeah, it just seems like they're looking to do a fire sale with the WWE, man. It's after all these years.
Yeah, I mean, them selling the network to NBC/Peacock for all that money that they got for it, cutting the contracts of these guys. It seems like they're trying to like get all this money in a row to try to make it look like a really valuable product for somebody to come in, swoop in, and buy it. And then maybe they can build it up a little bit more again once they buy it. But it'd be interesting to see who steps up and buys it. Could you imagine if Disney would step up and get WWE? That'd be nuts.
It would be. And then I also saw like a image, and they were taping. I don't know if this was real or not. It said WWE Kids on the Titantron. I don't know if this was real or not. And then, like, what the hell are they taping? So yeah, it just seems like they're really going from PG to G eventually.
Yeah, you don't want that.
No.
I mean, yeah, you want to be family friendly and provide a variety of entertainment. At the same time, you don't want to take away what made it popular back in the 80s and in the Attitude Era and times like that too.
No, not at all. And yeah, that's why I'm afraid their direction they're heading into. And, you know, they release crappy products. They release a crappy game, video game. I think you heard about that, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's a lot of things.
The last 2K20, I believe.
Yeah, 2K20. They've been just trending downward for WWE. They just haven't been looking good. And when I went to Raw, it just didn't feel the same as when I went to WWE. And I kind of went as like a test to see, like, how is it? How am I gonna, am I gonna enjoy it? And I didn't really enjoy it. Like, it was long. I missed like 2 or 3 segments, and I didn't even care with big stars in them because I was waiting in line to get food. I missed like Rhea Ripley's segment, Drew McIntyre's segment, and I missed Rhea Ripley's entrance. I got to see her, the last part of her match, but I missed Drew McIntyre's segment at the beginning, and then people said I didn't really miss much. So that just shows you, like, how the WWE is. Like, I think I went as an experiment just to see, like, am I going to enjoy it? I'm used to better products out there. How is it going to be? And I know I was surprised myself. I went to Raw. Usually I go to the pay-per-views, but I actually went to Raw just to see, like, I wanted to see how it would be.
Yeah, the TVs nowadays are really, really tough to get through, especially with a 3-hour Raw.
Yeah.
A 2-hour SmackDown is more palatable.
Yes,
but
I agree.
3-hour Raw, very, very hard.
Yeah, it's tough. And being there live, it was even tougher. And yeah, I got through it somehow. The crowd was good, but the thing is, they edited the crowd. I don't know if you heard about this.
Yeah. I think some of the chants were stunted by, audio editing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There were Punk chants, there were Wyatt chants that, that people were reporting were happening, but you didn't hear that much through the TV.
No. AEW chants.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think,
I guess I can understand the AEW chants, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I know. Well, CM Punk is always going to happen. I've never been to a WWE show where you don't say CM Punk, but I think that was just my experience of seeing, like, and like WWE is, you know what? I love everything about going to Allstate Arena except the actual show. Like, I love, going up there, getting to meet your friends, getting a bite to eat, getting into the arena, seeing they have this nice, cool thing. I don't know if you've seen it there. It's in the main entrance. It's like a collage of WWE wrestlers from the past and the present. Stephanie McMahon, Triple H. It's not. I put it on my Instagram, and yeah, that's when you walk in and see that just gives you memories. Seeing like Stone Cold, and it's almost like life size too. That wall collage, and so when you go in there, you just get, you have that feeling that this is, but then you go inside and it's just not there. So.
I was at WrestleMania 22, and that place was electric for that. And almost every match on that card, maybe not every match, but almost every match was exciting and terrific. Nowadays, you're lucky to get 1 or 2 pretty decent matches that aren't like constricted by the script or TV time or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. It's tough. It's tough. Like, I couldn't even pick out a match of the night. The matches were short too. Like, every match was like 5 minutes or less. It was mostly talking, BSing. The only match was the main event, and that would probably be the best match by default because they gave at least 10, 12 minutes, was Nikki and Charlotte and Nikki. But it's
it's a different world for WWE, and I think they really need to get back to what they were doing just a few years ago with their TV, because quite frankly, I've fallen asleep during 3-hour Raws because I don't always watch them live because of one thing or another. So I DVR them and I watch them later, and I'm like slapping myself to try to keep myself awake by the time the 3rd hour starts. It's not easy.
Yeah, and I actually stopped watching Raw and SmackDown a while ago. I have tuned into SmackDown live when it's, but I only watch like maybe an hour of it. But I that is actually watchable. SmackDown is watchable. But
It's a solid show. Yeah.
yeah, that's about all I can stomach. I think that's all about what people can stomach it from WWE now, and it's just sad to see like how far they've dropped. But I think when they lose that much talent, they're going to be kicking themselves in the head. Like, why did we let all this great talent go when they're going to be kicking ass in all these other promotions? You know, you've got a lot of options as a wrestler now. You've got AEW, you've got Impact Wrestling, you've got MLW, you've got, you know, ROH. So you got international, overseas. So there's no, you know,
Some
I mean,
great indies as well.
Great, yeah, great independence. You can actually make a living off the independent scene, off your name. So, and then be brought into these bigger events. So it's just, I think that they have more options now. So that's what's good for them. And not worried about like, you know, where they're going to end up, because, you know, they're going to be fine probably. You know, the pandemic is tough to work with, but somehow they'll survive, and they'll be fine. I mean, you know, you still got guys like Rhino working, you know what I mean? When I see guys that age still working, I'm like, okay, this, you know, they can definitely get a position, you know. I think Rhino's great, don't get me wrong, but just saying that you see have a lot of, it's not like they're pushing older guys, not that they can't wrestle anymore, you know?
And I believe Rhino is working a show up in Rockford on August the 28th for Underground Championship Wrestling.
Really? Damn.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me know that.
Against Kazile from POW Entertainment. Yep.
Nice. Rockford, huh?
Yep.
I might ask my friends. I'm supposed to hang out with them, but fortunately, I got something with my friends that day, or else I would definitely go out. I haven't met Rhino yet in person, so.
Yeah, and Rikishi's going to be at Zawa Live in Skokie on Sunday as well.
Really? This Sunday?
Yeah.
Skokie.
Yeah,
I didn't even know they did. I didn't even know they did shows that close.
They're going to do they're doing an outdoor show up in outside the Village Inn Pizzeria, I think it's called, in downtown Skokie. And Rikishi's going to be there signing autographs and stuff. So I'm like, wow, this is kind of cool.
Oh, okay. What time is that one? That's awesome. Oh, I heard Zawa, they did a show up here recently, and it was a couple years ago that was in Skokie, but yeah, that's really close to me. So that's cool, man. I love to see more independent wrestling like that. Definitely. Mike, I appreciate you, man. You know, we could go forever. So if you don't have anything else.
Yeah, we can.
I know we can. Yeah, man. We haven't even talked about, you know, a whole bunch of other stuff. So, you know, but
yeah, there's so much we could talk about.
Did you watch like all those shows this past weekend? Did you watch like the New Japan Resurgence or the AAA? I haven't watched them yet.
I'll only read a little bit about both. I mean, I've heard they were both really terrific shows, though.
Oh, nice. I'm definitely going to check those. Those are on my list to check out this week, and you know, obviously, I definitely want to check out the last NXT Takeover. I mean, this is to me the last Takeover. Mm-hmm. You know, and so I think this is going to be a memorable. We won't have to go too far into it, but yeah, we could. What we do is we could go over the results of it next time, so that way we give it proper attention. You know, because I know
I did hear that.
Yeah,
O'Reilly and Cole is going to be good. And backtracking to AAA for a second, I did hear the Andrade El Idolo and Kenny Omega match was really good, but I heard AEW exercise some power in saying that we don't want Omega to lose this match, so that's why he was able to successfully retain the AAA Mega Championship.
It makes sense, man. It makes sense.
Did you hear Ric Flair was there too?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I'm gonna watch all that, so just to keep track of it. But yeah, I think Takeover will be fun. You know, Raquel Gonzalez, Dakota Kai, Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole, and then Samoa Joe, Karrion Kross. And I know there's more matches, but those are the ones I'm looking forward to the most. I know there's probably more matches that we haven't even gone through as well. But NXT, man, I hope it's not rest in peace. I hope they still do strong, you know. They can't get rid of everyone.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking.
No, they can't. I mean, hopefully it'll be okay. That's what I'm keep my fingers crossed. And you know, eventually we just get used to changes and stuff like that. And I want to see, hopefully Triple H will still maintain some level of autonomy over this product, because I think he's done a terrific job with it. Him, Shawn Michaels, guys like Regal, all the veteran indie guys coming in, mixing with the good young talent. And I want to see Cora Jade and Trey Baxter a little bit more too on my TV. And hopefully that happens soon.
Me too. I do want to see them both. And we got to see Priscilla Kelly, you know, DG Dolan. She's actually doing more now, so that's pretty cool.
Yep.
So hopefully get to see more of her as well. And then, you know,
maybe Joey Areola.
What's up?
Joey Areola, possibly too. He's been some of the security sometimes. He's a guy from POW Entertainment.
Okay.
He's a local guy as well. And he's down there now. He's actually rooming with Bronson Rick Steiner's son.
Oh, really? Damn, I didn't even know about him.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Great amateur wrestler, Joey Areola. Yep.
Oh, nice.
He'll probably get a new name at some point, I would assume.
Yeah. Talk about amateur wrestling. What do you think of Gable Stevenson? And like the WWE wants him, UFC, the mixed martial arts, they could get him. You know, AEW, like there's like almost a bidding war breaking out before, you know, this guy's even eligible to be doing any of that.
I could see him signing with WWE. I mean, he's a guy. I think he wants to go there. I think Triple H would love to get his hands on him for NXT and the Performance Center. I see him up in WWE.
Me too. Call. They have a great track record of signing amateur athletes just like him. So, yeah, definitely. Well, Mike, I appreciate you again. Once again, check out WindyCitySlam. You can plug how to check it out.
Sure. WindyCitySlam.com for stories, photo galleries, and so much more. Then we have the Windy City Slam podcast that drops weekly on Tuesdays. This week's episode features Steve Tortorello and Eric Hamilton talking about this weekend's Warrior Wrestling Stadium Series. You could also catch Windy City Slam on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Windy City Slam.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you, Mike. As always, I'll see you out there for Warrior Wrestling Stadium Series event.
Yes,
night
indeed.
Number 3. Yes, sir. And I appreciate you again being part of Pro Wrestling Enforcer Day tonight.
Thank you for having me, Sean.
Anytime, brother. Take care. See you Friday. See you Saturday.
All right.